Qualcomm CEO Cristiano Amon, I'm told that there are going to be some surprises at Computex on stage. It's just you and I. Tell me what the surprises will be.
Not surprises on stage. I think it's going to be about bringing the ecosystem together. If anything, it's going to be Qualcomm showing that we're really in the PC market to stay, and the entire ecosystem is supporting us. But yeah, we'll have some interesting Easter egg on our materials, and you'll see it. I think you're going to like it.
This is, I'd say, the advent of the AI PC. We'll wait a bit of time for volume sales around the world. But I still feel like the consumer is thinking, well, when I open the box and I take out my AI PC and I fire it up or I power it up, what is going to be materially different from the PC that I already have?
The fundamental difference, and I believe the Copilot Plus demonstrated by Microsoft as a great starting point, is how you use your machine, how you interact your machine is going to be very different than what you used to do in your PC. Personally, I think this is as significant as a Windows 95 type transition. For example, the thing that's going to be different, every single pixel on the screen is indexed. So all you need to do is to tell the machine in natural language. I've seen a YouTube video about some yellow cupcakes. Can you bring that to me? And we'll say, yes, this is what you saw several days ago. This was the video. Or you can say, I've seen the document, I see a PowerPoint, they had a picture like that, and we'll bring the PowerPoint. This is just one feature, recall. How you're going to create things, you sketch, and he finishes the job for you. And simple things as having a Teams call, which is now how we use PCs. You can actually add subtitles in real time on any language to any speaker that is speaking a different language. Those are things that were not possible before.
Right. What's interesting about what you're saying, Cristiano, is it applies to the everyday person, it seems. You know, it seems, based on what you're saying, that the consumer can go to Best Buy and buy a product and notice the difference. I think some of the skepticism is that a lot of the functionality is best serving knowledge workers. What do you make of that?
No, I think this is very profound, really. The AI is changing the productivity or everything you do on your laptop. And you're correct. I think consumers will be able to see the difference, but also will actually help knowledge workers be more productive or actually have knowledge to do things that they didn't have before. And I think that's how we should be thinking about the future of personal computing. It's more than what we have done today, is now having an assistant that help you do things and even help you teach you to do things you didn't know how to do before.
Cristiano, battery life absolutely tops the polls in terms of what's important to so many people. Is the battery life component of the AI PC going to sway people this time around?
Look, I love talking about this because actually this is one of the reasons that you see every single one, no exceptions, of the laptops that have been announced with Copilot Plus being on Qualcomm Snapdragon X Elite. The reason is very simple. Think about this. You have a CPU that is doing a job. You have a GPU, your graphical processor unit, is doing another job. But now you have this other computing engine, which is the neural processing unit that is just running AI all the time. It will simply not run on the other platforms other than the Snapdragon X Elite because you have to have the full day of battery life. So first, I'm going to tell you, when we look on the early days of the Copilot Plus, while running on a Qualcomm platform, will take about 20-30 minutes of consumption of the overall days of use of a battery. While taking on the competing platforms 5 to 6 hours. That was unacceptable. Now, when you step back and you look at this new computer running on X Elite with Copilot Plus, Microsoft showed 22 hours of video playback with the AI running. That's a whole different paradigm. So people are going to be able to not only have the best performance, not only have the AI use case, not having a very small and thin laptop, but they're going to have battery life for everything they need to do. You're going to leave your charger at home.
Cristiano, from one technology nerd to another, when grandmothers all around the world go to the store and buy their first AI PC, and they take it home and they try to plug in their printer, will it work?
Of course it will. So one of the things that it's important to understand the journey that we have been on Microsoft is it's a fundamental shift from Microsoft changing Windows from x86 to an ARM instruction set, and it's changing to an AI PC. And part of what we have been doing is to bring the ecosystem along. It's not only the printers, it's not only the docking station, also the games. We've been working with Microsoft to have the top 1,200 games optimized on the platform, and it's really about the future of the Windows ecosystem. So the thing to think about it is not only you'll be able to work with an old printer, but you'll be able to do things you were not able to do before with your old PC.
Cristiano, we recognize the following that Snapdragon X Elite has. You can go on any social media platform, I see it. But Intel still sort of dominates the traditional sales channels for PC. They've got their name on all the shelves. You know, Qualcomm's in a different part of its history, but do you think you can take them on those sales channels, the marketing spend, the R&D, where they're quite entrenched?
Okay, so on the R&D, I beg to differ. I think the performance leadership now is clearly within the Windows ecosystem, and it's clearly with X Elite. Just looking on the CPU performance, Orion's custom CPU developed by Qualcomm's the fastest CPU out there for any personal computing, and then the NPU and the AI engine, it's only possible on a Qualcomm platform. So I do beg to differ on the R&D, but let's just talk about the big question, which is, it's a new market, it's a new channel for Qualcomm, and I'll tell you what is different this time. There are two aspects. One aspect is consumers are more savvy, and consumers actually come from a phone. Actually, your most important purchase decision, I will think today, is your smartphone, and you have a lot of knowledge coming from the phone. So Snapdragon is not something new to you. But the most important thing is actually not that. What the most important thing, when you usually see the incumbency position on PC, is at the enterprise. But the enterprise actually has us and Microsoft 100% aligned. Usually enterprises have been slower to adopt a new version of Windows, but Microsoft actually is doing a great job with enterprises around the world to get them to embrace the Copilot and the Copilot Plus. So that's a big tailwind that Microsoft is driving the enterprises into the future of AI PC. That's great news for Qualcomm, and that builds on the incredible platform with the Snapdragon X Elite.
Cristiano, based on those data points, then remind me of where you see volumes for the AI PC in its first kind of full 12 months and the adoption by all markets.
Yes. So it's just starting. So we have 22 laptops that got launched, and I think that's on the first wave. They are hitting the shelves now, some pre-order, some are already available for purchase, and it's going to go through summer to back to school, which is a big PC season. So our fiscal year ends in September. So for us, it will be a material event in fiscal 25, and that's just the beginning. I think the other data point, Ed, is we're new. We're new to this market, so it's all an expansion and growth for Qualcomm, and we don't have to make heroic assumptions, but we like the fact that there's a huge opportunity for an upgrade cycle driven by AI, and we're now a key participant in that market.